Hello YouTube, welcome to another video. Today we're gonna continue what we were starting with Angular JS. So first what we're going to do is we're gonna start our server. So we're going to do npm run dev. Don't forget to have your MongoDB instance, and let me increase the size here. So remember guys that I already have this instance running in the background, but you guys have to, in case that you don't have that as default, run that instance. If you're using Mongo Atlas DB, then you're fine, don't worry about it. And then, oh, I got an error, so 1, 2. So the letters can be a little bit more legible. I'm gonna go into the backend because I moved my API into the backend folder. So in the backend folder, I'm gonna do npm run dev. So that's going well. We have our server running, the database is connected. That's perfect. So now I'm going to navigate into my front end Angular. And what I'm going to do is do ng serve so it can serve the front end server. So let's just wait. Since I'm running OBS and I'm running also another server at the same time, so it's not as fast as it normally would be. But it should be fine. Now I'm just gonna open a new window. I'm gonna type the local host 4200. Perfect, so this is where we were at. Home works. So what we're trying to accomplish in this video is to have a navbar and have the list of video games displaying. And if we can, we may also want to display the image, because since the image is a separate route, it may require a little bit more of tinkering with the code. So now that we have these two open, I'm gonna do Command T in my terminal. I'm going to go into my video games folder. I'm gonna open Visual Code Studio there. That way, I like it this way because within the video games folder or directory, I have both my backend and my front end, which is what I like to do. That way I can just see and navigate very easily. I'm not having to have two Visual Code Studio windows open. So I find this convenient. So let me increase the font twice, 1, 2. That way you guys can see a little bit better. So let's go into our front end. And as I previously said, the home component works, but we're only displaying this. So if I just type test and save it, here you're gonna see test as so. And we also have right now, we have the routes. So the routes are working, which for now we have the home. And on the app component, we're displaying the router. So normally what you can do is here you can do like a navbar, which it doesn't exist right now, but we'll create it right now. And the navbar will always be displaying along with the routes that should be displaying within the router outlet. And the same goes for the footer. So here you can put like app footer, and the footer will always be displaying whenever we create it. So let's go ahead and create the navbar so we can, even though it doesn't have a use right now, it'll look more like a website for now. So let's go do that. And the way we do it, again, ng generate, or I'm just gonna do it this way now, ng generate component. This is gonna go inside the components folder, and I'm gonna call it navbar. Oh, I have to navigate inside actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it in this terminal since it's already within the folder. Oh, just kidding. I also have to go inside the folder. So what is it? CD, isn't it front end? Is there an error here? All right, I'm just gonna do it here from the terminal. So CD front end Angular. Perfect. So I'm here in the front end Angular folder, and I'm going to do ng generate component, and I want to create that inside the components folder. I'm gonna call it navbar. So perfect. And here, as said, okay, here's the navbar. Wait, actually, I want to try something. I think, did I have to do this? So let's just Google this so we are 100% sure. Generate component within component folder. Okay, ng components. Yeah, that's the way I did it. ng generate components navbar. Unless I misspelled it, but yeah, because this should be a components folder. Yeah, I should have just created a components folder. I don't like the way this looks. What I don't like is that it says component. Okay, that's why there's a spelling mistake. Duh. So if you see my spelling mistake, obviously please don't commit it. There you go. That's what we want. So let's get rid of this whole folder. And now this is the desired. We have the home and we have the navbar. Perfect. And since we never did use of the navbar now, even if you commit the mistakes and you follow the same steps, you should be fine. So right now, what we're going to do, if you go into the navbar component TS, you're going to see that the selector is called app navbar. So this is the name that we write when we write it as element tags here in the app component. And in order to make use of it, we just do app navbar, right? App navbar, yeah. There you go. So now we're going to see above the test. Remember that we had the test here. It's going to say navbar works. Yep, perfect. So now we're going to close this. We'll close this too. And for now, we'll leave the home component as it is. And we're going to go into our navbar component. So what I like to do is I like to go into Bootstrap. And later, by the way, we're going to install a module called Angular Bootstrap. But for now, we're just going to place the navbar without too much function. So we're going to documentation, components. Oh, by the way, this is where I'm going. So forgot to put it on the screen. So getbootstrap.com, documentation, components, and then you choose the nav bar, and then we can just grab the first one. It doesn't really matter. We can even choose this one, but I always like to grab the first one since it's the one that has like the most amount of elements. So we go here, we get rid of this, we paste it, and we're gonna get rid of a lot of stuff. So for example, what don't we need? We don't need the search and the search form or input box and the search box. So this little form, we're just gonna get rid of it. And if you notice here, here's the beginning of the unordered list and the ending of the unordered list. So we're just going to create a new one. We're going to create the element, and here, I don't know, I'm just gonna copy this and name it login, logout. So let's do login, and then we can copy this too and do log out, and it's not going to be a drop down item, so we select everything, Command D, and that's how we delete everything with one single keystroke. We also are going to name this class navlink, and the allies are going to be nav item, just so they follow the class styling convention. So disabled, so this, we don't need it, so we're just gonna get rid of it. And let's make a separation of this. So drop down, I mean, nah, it looks cool, but we don't need it. I'll leave it just in case. So I don't know, profile or whatever. And actually this, I'm gonna put it within the second UL. So we're just gonna cut this and we're gonna paste it here. It's gonna say profile. So our welcome user, profile, manage settings, I don't know. Okay, what else? So welcome user, login, logout, home, search, I don't know, like something random. And this is going to be the video games store. So let's save that. Let's go here. And let's see why. Maybe there's an error here. Not in this one. Yeah, okay, there's an error. So it says cannot find module components navbar. Okay, so it's asking for the other one. So let's just correct this quickly. And the error that is giving me, it's being found in the app module.ts. So always go to the terminal. The terminal is going to tell you a lot of errors. So app module.ts, and this is because, remember, of the spelling error. So it says components instead of components. So we're just at the end, and we should have our navbar. So now it's compiled successfully, and we have this. So I forgot I forgot to add the CDN. So we go here, get started, and for now we're just going to use the CSS. Yeah. And we don't want to use this because this is reliant on jQuery. We want to use Angular JavaScript. Since this is also JavaScript, like, we might as well just use the Angular library later in the future. For now, since it's not gonna have functionality, again, we're just gonna paste the CSS link. So we go into index.html, and here below the icon, we paste this. And what I like to do is I like to put the href like so. Same with the integrity and cross origin prop or property. So save it, and now you're gonna see the navbar looking a lot better. A little bit better, I guess. So let's try to the end. What am I missing? What am I getting all this ugly background? I don't know, dark, just so we can see the contrast. Okay, so it's not that bad. It's just this that it's missing styling. So let's go back to light. Later we can change the background of the navbar. It's actually really easy, but let's leave it as light. So basically all this, like from the second UL to the end of the second UL, I mean from the beginning of the second UL to the end, we're missing a couple of classes, so we can just copy this. So it's going to be class equals navbar nav, and then, well, this margin out auto, we don't need it. So let's see. Yep, perfect. And this is not working as in here, because this is done by jQuery. So this is handled by a dropdown, and there's like a dropdown component. Actually, I'm just going to show you guys, but I just want to get started with the API, and let's see how long. It's been 17 minutes. Yeah, we'll do it in the next video. For now, we'll just live like that. But in case you guys want to start looking, it's called Angular Bootstrap. ng Bootstrap. So there's this, and there's another one. There's ng Bootstrap, and then there's another one. I don't remember. But yeah, just this type of library which handles the JavaScript of the Bootstrap within Angular projects. But anyway, going back. So as you see, this is all the way to the left, and this all the way to the right. And I don't like how this looks. It looks a little bit odd, in my opinion. So what I like to do is I like to put a container. So we can just do div.container. And what I'm doing here is called emmet, which already comes as default with Visual Code Studio. So you just press tab and creates the div with the class. We press enter, and I'm just going to select everything except for the navbar. The nav tag. We don't want the nav tag included. So yes, we cut this, we go in between this and paste it. And we want some indentation. So here we indent. Okay, looks good. Also, you can do for Mac is Command Option F, and it'll format it. You see how it looks all nice and neat. May not be the best formatting because it depends on the formatting. Here I have it as prettier, but the prettier is for JavaScript. There should be like an HTML formatter, but whatever. Actually, yeah, I like it better like this. Looks pretty decent. So we save it. And now this is a little bit more tight together, which is the way I like to see and create my navbar. So now from here, we're going to go into the CSS, and we're going to change the background. So we do body, or we do star to reference everything, and we do background color light, I don't know, we can test light blue. And then you see this is only selecting this, so we don't want to only target the, because it's only targeting the nav. So, I mean, yeah. Should be getting targeted by. Let me see if there's an error here. No errors. HTML, head, body, app nav bar. Nav. Let's put a class. Okay, let's select it by class, I guess. So dot nav bar. I think it's getting overridden by Bootstrap. So let's try this. There you go. So you don't necessarily have to use this color. We can use another color. Let's choose, I don't know, light gray. But otherwise, if we don't change the color, it just looks plain white. Here, at least you can see that you have an nav bar. So let's just leave it like this. And it's been already 17 minutes. So let's start. Well, it's been 20. All right. So let's quickly try to make the shipments appear here. We're going to do that at home for now. Later, we can move a little bit of code. So we have the components here, but I also want to create services. So just as we created the components, we're going to create services in our Angular project. And what we're going to do is do ng generate s for service, and we're going to call services. Wait, is it services or providers? I think it's providers. Create services inside services folder. Ng generate. I want the command. All right, yeah. Ng generate service and services. Yeah, so the same. So ng generate as for services, and I'm going to call this. So what are we bringing? We're bringing the video games data. So this is going to be the video games service, and it'll append services or service after it. So you'll see. So now we have a folder called services here. Perfect. So here, what we're going to do is, I believe we have to import the HTTP. Import HTTP. Let's see. So Angular HTTP client import. So let's go here into documentation. It's going to be like this, and we're going to import it. I think this is done automatically once you use it in one of your services or components. HTTP client. So private HTTP. Okay, so HTTP client from, what is it? Angular common HTTP. So it's not imported as private, because here it can be public or private, and it's going to be HTTP client. Oh, within the constructor. So inside of these parameters. And then we're going to do get video games. We're going to call this API URL. It's equals to HTTP localhost. We're running our API in the 5000 API video games. So let's just test this. So it's localhost localhost 5000, and this is the route API video games. Perfect. So there's the data. So HTTP localhost 5000 API video games. So what we're going to do is HTTP get API URL. And I believe it was return. I'm not sure. So this is our service. So the idea of the services is that this is reachable globally throughout the whole Angular project. So whenever and wherever you want to use it within your components, you can just call the service and you can just make use of the API. It's like, in my opinion, like a more efficient Redux kind of way to use state. Not necessarily as a state management, but like in a way you, like as now you can get data globally, like it's globally reachable. So for example, if we go here into our component, well, first we'll have to get that data. So we can still get data, but let's just do get video games. And also we want to import our service. So we're going to import, and our service is called video games. I think I can just put in the constructor. So private video game service, and this coming from the video game service. There you go, it automatically added it. So now we're going to do this dot, we're going to call this service. So this dot video game service dot get video games, and this will get the data. Now we want to assign this to an array or to a string so we can display it. So we can create it before the constructor. We can call it video games equals an empty string or an array or an object. Let's see. So video games equals this video games, my mistake. And this in it's giving us error because object. So there you go. So it has to be an object. And if we want to be very specific later, we can like create like a video game object. But for now, let's just leave it as any type of object. And if you don't understand this, don't get too caught up on this. Don't worry about it. So now that we got the video games response, then in home, we can make call of that and just display everything. For now, it's gonna look ugly, but we can just do design video games, I believe. Do I have to do an wow, it's been a while. Oh, duh, because I have to call it on initiation of the home component. So get video games. So I'm calling this function here, and ng on init means on initiation of the home component. Call this, which will call the services, which the service will call the API and get the JSON data. So, oh, I didn't save it. So let's save it. Save it. Cancel. Refresh. And let's see, because we have an error. Content promise, null injection, HTTP client. Hold on, let me get my notes, because I'm definitely doing something wrong. Probably the way I'm structuring my service and my components, so let me get my notes. Chart, vortex, tracker. No. CD Angular, vortex. Okay. Alright. So just bear with me. Okay, so the get shipment service is just exactly the same, so that's fine. Then the component, tracker component, get shipments. Duh, I forgot the subscribe response. Well, yeah, response, and then this ship, this video games equals. Yeah, so we're not gonna write it like that. We're gonna do this instead, and we want to console the information that we get from our API. And here we also want to see if we got an error. So in case that we got an error, we also want to see why did we get an error. So now this, let's see if there's no errors. There's no errors. Let's go to our web page. Reload. It says some content promise. Static injection error. App module HTTP client. Injection error. No provider for HTTP client. Sometimes I believe I don't have to do HTTP client. Okay, yeah, so here where it says provider, so that error here, it says no provider, is because we are not telling our app module that we're going to make use of the HTTP client module, which actually I believe that we have to put module here, but let's see if this works. And before we save that, I just want to double check. Yeah, so let's not use the provider actually. I'm using the module in my other project. So HTTP client, and here as you see, the third option, client module, I need to add it here. So there's a syntax error now. Unexpected module, HTTP client module, please add a Y. HTTP client module. I don't see why there should be an error. Let's try. I didn't hear in the provider, but I don't see why we should have an error here, because that's the way I'm using it in another project. Yep. Duh, it's in inputs, not in declarations. My bad. So if you cut that on earlier, don't commit the same mistake. So let's get rid of this, and we don't need this here, because the HTTP client solely will be used in the home component. So let's close this. Let's actually close everything, and let's just open the home component. And yeah, here's where we have this. In the app module is where we have the HTTP client module. So now we have the object, which I don't like having it like this. Access to XML at HTTP blah blah has been blocked by course policy. No access control. Header is present on the requested resource. So course, I remember that I had to add one more module. Let's see, app component, app module. Let's look for a course. Has course. Nope. Maybe in the environment. App, environment, production false, environment, API true, no. I know that we have to let these two allow cores. We need to let the Angular project know that we're allowing cores. Haven't had this problem before. From origin, HTTP localhost has been blocked by course. No access header is present on the requested resource. Unknown API video games. Okay, false. Bear with me a second. Trying to see if I can find in my notes. Actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead. I believe it's a very quick fix. So let's do that, but like course policy. I remember there was a quicker fix, so 41 minutes. Oof. So I'm gonna give myself 3 more minutes. And if I don't get it solved in 3 minutes, we'll solve it in the next video. But I really want to get it out of the way. And it's a little bit annoying because we're almost there. So let's see if I can find something. Private HTTP client, return API URL, HTTP host. Because apparently there is a package called has course. I don't think that is gonna help, so but let's try it, it doesn't hurt. NPI has course. And then after it is done, we will rerun it, but I don't know. Alright, so let's run again. ng-serve. Let's run our Angular project. We still have this working. Video games. Okay. So. Nope, still, yeah. We still have an error. And that is very annoying. I'm gonna see if I have a typo that can be possible. So API video games. Localhost 5000 HTTP. Yeah, this is literally what we are typing here. Yep. So let's go into the documentation page. Let's see if we can find something about course. HTTP client. Course. JSONP. Search here as trim. Alright, so I'm gonna cut it here because it's been already 45 minutes. So let's stop it here, and I'm gonna post a quick video showing how to resolve the course problem. That way we can also display the information of the video games and start displaying our video game store. So give it a like, give it a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.